Go ahead, Chair.
Okay, welcome everybody. We'll officially call this meeting to order at 10:13 a.m. Just like an in-person meeting, this Zoom meeting is recorded and will be archived on the State Bar's website. And we will take items on the agenda in the order of which they appear on the agenda. And any votes that we take will be done by a roll call. So with that, Adrian, I'll ask you to take roll, please.
Acosta?
Here, and I'll be abstaining from participation in voting today.
Of course. Personson? Or excuse me, Hammersmith?
Present, and I will also be abstaining from voting today.
Personson?
Here.
Lester? Levy? Vance?
Present, I will be abstaining from voting and recusing myself from any discussions today.
And Yoon?
Here.
Thank you. We do have quorum. We can move forward with the agenda item.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. So we won't be making a call for public comment today. If you're participating via Zoom, you should have a function that you can virtually raise your hand. If you're on the telephone, you can also virtually raise your hand by pressing *9 on the number pad. Doing so will alert us you'd like to make a comment, and we will call on you in order of which hands appear, asking you to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and you'll be notified when you have 30 seconds left to conclude your comments. After 3 minutes, your microphone would be turned off. Are there any members of the public that are present that wish to make any comment?
I do not see any members of the public present.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Adrian. So hearing none, we will close that section and move on to staff reports. And I will turn that over to Audrey for recent developments.
Thank you. Well, what's developing right now is the California bar exam. We're set to have the bar exam really soon on July 27th. Just want to give you a quick overview. Right now, we're at just about 8,900 approved applicants for the July bar exam, so a large exam, and about 8,600 of those will be taking it online. This will be another remote proctored exam. And that's all I really wanted to update you on.
Great. Thank you, Audrey. Okay, that moves us into the business section of the agenda. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Adrian for the approval of the 2022 Legal Specialization Budget Reserve Spend Down Initiatives. And this is for our recommendation to the Board of Trustees for final approval. So Adrian?
Of course, thank you. Just a quick reminder before we begin this item, under Business and Professions Code, any member of the Board of Trustees shall disqualify himself or herself from participating in the making of or attempting to influence any decisions of the board or a committee of the board in which he or she has a financial interest. And actually under Business and Profession Code 6038, attorney members of the Judicial Council, members of the Commission on Judicial Performance who are not judges, and employees designated in the Conflict of Interest Code of the State Bar of California are subject to the provisions of this article with respect to participating in the making or attempting to influence governmental decisions or their respective state agencies other than decisions or of a judicial or quasi-judicial nature. And under the Conflict of Interest Code, members of the CBLS are designated employees of the State Bar. So for this item, approval of the 2022 Legal Specialization Budget Reserve Spend Down Initiatives for recommendation to the Board of Trustees for final approval. The State Bar's reserve policy requires a minimum target reserve of 2 months of operating expenses, which is 17% for each fund, and requires a spend down plan when reserves remain greater than 30% for longer than 6 consecutive months. In 2016, the CBLS and Board of Trustees approved a similar spend down of reserves to bring the balance down to 464,000 from approximately 6 million. At that time, those initiatives included an annual fee holiday, a case management system, outreach, exam bank preparation and a system, new specialty areas, and exam fee holiday reduction. Included on the item under attachment A, it's a 10-year projected legal specialization budget covering the years 2021 to 2031. If we look at the first column for 2021 budget, legal specialization is currently budgeted to be at 128% of the allowable reserve balance. The reserve balance as of December 31st, 2020 was 5.4 million. And then the 2021 budgeted net balance is expected to be 4.3 million. With 2021 budgeted expenses at 3.4 million. Our minimum target reserve balance is 580,000, and the maximum target reserve balance is just over 1 million. So with that, we will have to spend on approximately 3.4 million to reach the maximum reserve target. Included on the table, the 2021 budget has been adjusted to reflect updated 2021 exam development expenses. That's the highlighted cell on the second column. Exam dev expenses, they were adjusted as the original budget contained expenses for a full exam cycle. And a full exam cycle is developed on a 2-year schedule. So those budgeted expenses were halved. And then with the adjusted balance for 2021, it is now expected to be 4.9 million or just under 5 million. The 2021 adjusted expenses would be 2.8 million. So the minimum target reserve balance is going to be 470,000 and a maximum target reserve balance of 840,000. Other things that I'd like to note on the table for other fees, that includes other revenues such as legal specialization brochures, wall certificates, CLE providers, and the CTC providers. Those are the organizations that certify in the other 11 areas of law. Other expenses, those are going to be the other costs such as building operations, indirect costs, office equipment and supplies, printing. For the LSX banking system, that's the highlighted row. We are currently working to procure an exam question item banking system. The system is projected to have initial cost to set up the system and an annual license maintenance fee. In 2023, the legal specialist exam registration fees will return to normal levels. And then for the following 6-year projections, so for the following 6 years after the proposed spin down, with the item banking system and exam development costs, legal specialization should not see so many positive variances in the budget each year. In 2027, that'll also be the last year for the admissions loan repayment. $1 million loan was issued in 2017. The first payment was received in 2018. Tentatively, staff, we projected a 2-step phased increase of the annual fee. The first step would go from 360 to 410 for 1 year in 2026. And then the second step would go from 410 to 460 for 2027 and then on. Overall, that'd be a $100 increase from the current amount. And just for reference, the last fee increase was in 2011, which was also a phased increase. So it would be 15 years since the fee was last adjusted. In that following 6-year projection, we also projected the budget to continue the enhanced work plan initiatives, applicant portal storage fees, and the advertising and outreach expenses. All right, so for our spend down options, we had option A. This is a 2022 legal specialization program annual fee holiday. This is a $360 annual fee. It's assessed to all active specialists every year on their annual fee statement. The recommendation is a one-time fee waiver for 2022. Option B is for advertising and outreach. It is proposed to research and develop materials, campaigns to inform public about the importance of the program and to attorneys to join the program. Other uses include material redesign, advertisements, physical or in-person outreach opportunities. The recommendation is to allot $30,000 a year for the following 4 years. Option C, application for initial certification fee holiday. Applicants seeking state bar certification. They must show compliance of the certification requirements by submitting their application for initial certification. These applicants are only eligible to apply after passing the legal specialist examination. The cost to apply for certification, it is in addition to the cost to register for the exam. The current cost for this application is $300. The recommendation is to waive this fee for 4 years. Option D, admissions applicant portal file storage. So with the admissions applicant portal, we were able to move a majority of our paper processes onto an electronic platform. Users there, they can register for the legal spec exam, apply for certification or recertification, submit legal specialist continuing education, or other legal specialization questions and requests. However, there's a large population of program participants that still utilize paper and physical forms. This requires staff to scan and upload those files and documents into our system, which does take up storage. With retention policies, it's critical that we maintain this electronic database. The recommendation is to set aside $107,000 to cover the storage costs for 4 years. And then this is the last option, option E, implementation of enhanced work plan initiatives. Staff propose a heightened focus on various work plan initiatives for the designation removal, enforcement, continued monitoring and tracking. This is important so the public is not incorrectly finding or seeing people who are no longer certified. Exploring marketing opportunities, active monitoring and managing outreach, especially to inform the public about the program. Re-examining guidelines when evaluating proposals to expand certification areas. We propose active research in new specialty areas, the public need for public protection, and our internal processes. It's proposed that this is done through the creation of dedicated staff position. The recommendation is to allot $426,000 to cover the salary, the overhead, and other benefits for a program specialist for the next 4 years. Full implementation of the spend down plan for 4 years is just under 2.8 million. At the conclusion of this 4-year spend down plan, this will bring the reserve down to just under 890,000, which will put us at 26.3% of the reserves. On attachment B, this is a 10-year projected legal specialization fund balance chart, once again covering the years 2021 to 2031. Quickly going through the key total revenue, including the spend down options, that's the dotted red line. Total expenses, including the spend on options, that's the solid blue line. Our minimum target reserve balance each year, that's the solid green line. The maximum target reserve balance, that's the solid orange line. And then the total net fund balance each year would be that light blue bar graph. If we follow this balance, we will be in compliance with the reserve policy at the end of the spend down plan. Then with the projected annual fee increases, expenses are still projected to exceed revenues. So the legal specialization fees will likely have to be adjusted so that the revenue and expenses can balance out and allow the fund to level out each year. Staff, we are recommending approval of the updated new plan. So these are the new options A through E. And staff also recommend updating the CBLS work plan to include new initiative to monitor the budget and the spend down, and also to set a date halfway through the spend down, that'll be in 2024, to assess the effects of the spend down and begin planning for permanent fee adjustments when the spend down plan ends. And staff will prepare this additional recommendation for the next CBLS meeting. Any questions from our two eligible members?
None from me. Jake, any questions?
Yes, it looks good.
Okay, so any additional comments from any staff, or are we ready to move into the vote?
I think we're ready if you are.
All right, perfect. So then, again, remind everybody that it's just Jake and myself who are eligible as the public members of the board. So at this point, I'm calling for a motion to approve or reject the recommendation. I'll go ahead. I'll move that. I'll move that the board accepts the recommendations of staff to approve the spend down plan to be submitted to the Board of Trustees. And is there a second?
Second,
Okay, then Adrian, I'll ask you to. So Rob Hershenson was the motion. Jake was the second. So Adrian, I'll have you call roll for the vote.
Of course. Excuse me. Acosta,
Abstain.
Hammersmith,
Abstain.
Hershenson,
Yes.
Vance, Vance, Natalie, I think you are muted if you are. Jean, is it appropriate to accept her mention of an extension at the beginning of the meeting?
I'd like her to make the vote on the record. Is she, Natalie, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, I abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. And Yoon,
I'm just finishing a state bar meeting and
Whoever's not on mute, can you please mute your microphone, please? And then Adrian, would you call Mr. Yoon again, please?
I'll grab that mute. Yoon,
yes.
thank you. That is enough votes from the eligible voters. The motion passes.
And I'd like to take a moment to thank Adrian and all of the staff for all of this work. I know it was a lot between the last meeting and this one, putting this together in a number of revisions. So we as the board thank you for your hard work and putting this plan together. I know that there's more work to do halfway through if this is approved, but again, your hard work is truly appreciated. So with that, we have no agenda for a closed session, so that's going to be the end of today's meeting. So I want to thank you all again for participating, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. See you soon.